With construction and infrastructure projects on the rise, the demand for facility management has rapidly grown. At this year's Future FM event and the IFMA Global Middle East Summit, we will hear from experts, FM champions, and leaders on the opportunities that has created in the MENA region. In the lead up to the event and the summit, we hear from our Summit Program Committee members in a series of interviews how the industry has transformed and what's more to come. I'm pleased to welcome Matt Tucker, Research Director at IFMA and a member of our Summit Program Committee, to share more insights. Matt, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us.
It's wonderful. Thank you, Ranju. It's really great to be part of this.
Absolutely, and it's good to see you, and obviously having this conversation with you is going to be really exciting. So let's get straight to it. Let's start off with a very important conversation that we need to have is about the most pressing global trends, and how do you think these are shaping the future of facility management, within your team as well as outside in the industry?
Sure, yeah. I mean, there are so many global trends, and it's something I've been presenting on quite a lot this year, actually, on the conference circuit, and something that I would love to talk about when I am in Dubai. There is a really interesting report which was produced last year, but it still has huge relevance right now, which was produced by Global FM, and it's called the Global FM Facility Management Impact Report. Mm-hmm. That really resonated with me because it highlights some trends that correlate quite nicely to what we're doing within IFMA in terms of research and benchmarking. One of the big things, I think, which has been a big focus within IFMA over the past 12-24 months, is around digital transformation, the importance of technology, and how really technology is really the platform for growth for organizations moving forward in a post-COVID era. We are facing some monumental external forces globally, not just the facility management industry, but any industry. There is geopolitical chaos. We have wars, we have economic pressures, we have pandemics that we're trying to evolve from, as well as a whole new way of working. I'm not sure we can call it a new way of working anymore. I think hybrid and remote for a huge proportion of the world is normal now. Yeah. But organizations are still trying to adjust and adapt to that and understand how they can manage their real estate to be able to sustain that long term. But going back to the point about digital transformation, I think one of the reasons I'm highlighting this is that the world is obviously getting faster in terms of our communication, the speed of information. We have the rise of artificial intelligence, which has obviously been around a long time, but in the past 12 months or so, it's really become, a buzzword for everybody, not just in industry, but mass media, and Gen AI, especially with the likes of ChatGPT and comparable open sources. So really, I think this is changing the way businesses are now operating and thinking, and there is an emphasis for organizations to be quick to respond and be proactive with the information that they deliver and receive, but at the same time remaining agile and remaining resilient to be able to survive in this post-COVID world.
Yeah,
so that's why I think technology is such a huge exactly. component right now.
And I think it also takes us back to, like you mentioned, you brought a point about us being in the post-COVID era, and we've seen the stark difference of, the sort of innovations that has supported not just the FM industry, but I think the construction industry as a whole, what technology has done for us and what it's been doing. I think it's incredible. And we obviously are going to be exploring more out of, the tech adoption and the innovations that the platforms are going to bring for us. Now, Now, that brings me to another important question, Matt, is about sustainability. Now, we know sustainability is a critical focus area for all of the industries around the world. From an FM perspective, and based on your research, what are some of the impactful strategies that facilities can actually adopt to achieve long-term sustainability?
So I'm going to probably contradict some of the things I've said through some of my presentations and reporting, but one thing that a project that has been really close to my heart for the past few months that I've been working on, which will be published very, very soon, probably in alignment with IFMA's World Workplace in San Antonio in October, is the role of the circular economy. And I've produced a research report on the role of the circular economy in facility management. Now, I say that this contradicts me a little bit because I feel quite strongly that circular economy is not sustainability. However, it is very much an operating mechanism to deliver sustainable practice. And what I mean by that is circular economy is really at the heart of future sustainability practice for me, because it allows organizations to transform their business models into something which can actually deliver sustainable practice. So this means moving from our historical and traditional linear business models where we take, make, dispose into something which is circular, where everything becomes about the different R's that we're familiar with, about reusing, recycling, etc. And what this allows organizations to do is just think completely differently about different elements of their business. And with that, then in turn comes sustainability. So I'll give you an example. If FM organizations can rethink their supply chains and their procurement processes, so they are looking to work with suppliers that adopt circular principles, and with that is going to come environmental impacts, not just environmental, but social as well, and then financial. So I looked at various case studies within the facility management industry that are good examples of circular economy practice. So yeah, one good example for you would be around cooling systems or heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems. So a great case study I looked at was the concept of cooling as a service. Or if we go back to the first point you made about global trends, I think a huge trend which is a knock-on effect from digital transformation is organizations completely transforming their business models. And the concept of an as-a-service business model is going to become more and more common within the facility management industry. How this links to the circular economy and then in turn sustainability is the fact that we're moving from a traditional mentality to own things. So it's human nature that we want to own things, right? You want to buy new clothes that are yours. You don't want to necessarily rent them or acquire them secondhand, right? Although, what's the problem with that? So this mentality is if we look at that in terms of buildings and infrastructure, it's not really heard of. Whereas an as-a-service model is saying that I don't actually need to own the assets within my building. I could actually give that responsibility to specialists. So in the example of cooling as a service, I can utilize a service provider that actually purchases my cooling system from me. They own it. But with that comes a complete service package where they will operate that to the most efficient and reliable capacity possible. Why that makes it circular is that it's in their interest to make sure that asset is as efficient and reliable as possible. And that is their supply chain. They deal in cooling systems. So if that cooling system is now not fit for purpose, they don't get rid of it. They can use it as a standby system, or they can reuse the parts within their own supply chain, becoming much more circular than before. How that benefits me is I now have a cooling system in my building, which is operating at the best possible efficiency and reliability that it can. And I'm operating on an agile business model, which one of the companies that I spoke to used the term making it as simple as Spotify. So essentially, you enter into a kind of subscription contract where you only pay for what you're using. And equally, you can get out of that contract if you want to. I just simply
Exactly.
buy back my chilling
And it's
system.
interesting because it's also quite a popular model, and it's also again gaining a lot of traction. And I know for a fact this is another conversation that, everyone else who will be joining the summit will be talking about. So really excited to find out, what are some of the other case studies, that come out of these conversations there, Matt. Now, taking our conversation a little further ahead, I wanted to understand from you what are some of the key priorities for IFMA's research and benchmarking that you think can help FM professionals navigate the current industry transformation? I wouldn't want to call them challenges, they're all transformations.
Yeah, so within IFMA, we term it research and benchmarking. So firstly, research and understanding future trends is integral to IFMA, and they thankfully for me, they treat that with a high priority. And trying to inform our members about what is happening is crucial to the organisation, to the association. Research and benchmarking, we treat the two things slightly differently. We often look at benchmarking as things that are more applied research, where they're things that can help a facility management on the ground with maybe day-to-day operations. So for example, we do regular O&M reports. We do lots of benchmarking reports that inform facility manager professionals on their day-to-day operations. In my remit within research in IFMA, I'm almost looking at things that our members perhaps don't know they need to know yet. So I mentioned about circular economy, and there'll be no doubt that there'll be a huge spectrum of knowledge base around that. People who've never heard of it before, people who are more informed about it. But it's really my job to almost have that crystal ball and try and decipher what key trends and themes that we think our members are going to need to know about in the very distant, very near future. So going back to your point, I think some of the things that I'm very keen to look at, the hot topic is the circular economy, which I've just explained, and I'll definitely be talking about that within the Global Middle East in November. Digital transformation is definitely not going away. We will have a strong emphasis around AI and AI applications within the FM industry. That's going to be coming this calendar year. We've reported a lot over the last 12 to 24 months about cybersecurity. That's again a hot topic that will continue to roll out, and very much that convergence between information technology and operational technology, and how those two worlds come together to ensure a more safe and secure workplace. And they're just a few things. Oh, and the other one that it'd be useful to mention, you mentioned about sustainability. The next big project that I will be working on is around social sustainability. So if we think about ESG, which is a very popular term now globally, and something that people are required to report on, there's an argument to say that S is slightly neglected and also quite abstract in how that is reported on. So I'm going to delve into that issue and see how we can make social sustainability more tangible in terms of reporting within the FM industry.
Absolutely. Now, that brings me to the last question, and also a point that many of our viewers, when they watch this video, should know is you will be joining us here in the region in Dubai, for the IFMA Global Middle East Summit. So let's hear from you quickly on, what is the summit going to be talking about, and how excited you are, to be here with us.
I am super excited. I love visiting the Middle East. I have, in my capacity as a professor in a university, I've had many students from the Middle East who I'm still connected with today. It's a fantastic region. It's a fascinating region in terms of the FM industry, which I'll be talking about during the summit, about the kind of the market size and outlook within the Middle East, which is it has some interesting features that are perhaps slightly different to other continents, actually, which I won't give away now, but come and see me talk about global trends and particularly with a deeper dive within the Middle East in terms of market size, outsourcing capabilities, integrated FM. I will give a bit of a deeper dive about the Middle East region and how the facility management industry looks compared to the rest of the global continents. So yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a fantastic conference in a fantastic region, and it's going to be really great.
Absolutely. We are so thrilled as well here, Matt, and we can't wait to find out all the conversations that you and obviously the other FM leaders are going to be having at the IFMA Global Middle East Summit. And we are really looking forward to meeting you as well, at that time. So once again, thank you so much for your time and your insights, Matt. It was absolutely lovely having you with us, and I look forward to seeing you later in the year.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Make sure you tune in to our social media channels for more updates on Future FM, which takes place from 26th to the 28th of November, and IFMA Global Middle East Summit, which will be held on the 26th and the 26th November at the Dubai World Trade Center. There is a lot more that's waiting for you on the other side of the summit, so stay tuned to all of our channels for more updates. Until next time, goodbye, and thank you so much for joining us.